Welcome to Everything TV. Here we talk about true stories that are both captivating and impactful. Let's get into it. The disappearance of Vanessa Guillen. In April 2020, Vanessa Guillen, a 20-year-old U.S. Army soldier stationed at Fort Hood in Texas, went missing under mysterious circumstances. Vanessa had been stationed at the base for nearly 2 years and was last seen in a parking lot near her barracks. Her disappearance set off a massive search and drew national attention, especially after her family reported that Vanessa had been sexually harassed by a superior officer, but feared retaliation if she spoke out. For weeks, the military and law enforcement agencies searched for Vanessa, but her whereabouts remained unknown. Her family, supported by activists and the public, demanded answers and accountability from the military. The case gained widespread attention on social media, with the hashtag #BeachyFindVanessaGuillen trending as people across the country joined the call for justice. On June 30th, 2020, human remains were found near the Leon River in Texas, about 20 miles from Fort Hood. They were later confirmed to be those of Vanessa Guillen. The investigation revealed that Vanessa had been murdered by specialist Aaron Robinson, who then enlisted the help of his girlfriend to dismember and dispose of her body. Robinson took his own life as authorities closed in on him. The case highlighted serious issues within the military, including sexual harassment and misconduct, leading to widespread calls for reform. Vanessa's death sparked the I Am Vanessa Guillen movement, advocating for justice for victims of military sexual harassment and assault. In response, the U.S. Army announced several policy changes and launched investigations into the culture at Fort Hood. The tragic story of Vanessa Guillen brought to light the struggles faced by many service members and prompted a national conversation about the need for systemic change in the military. The mysterious monoliths. In late 2020, a strange and mysterious phenomenon captured the world's attention: the sudden appearance of tall, shiny monoliths in remote locations across the globe. The first monolith was discovered in November 2020 in the deserts of Utah by state biologists conducting a helicopter survey of bighorn sheep. The structure, made of metal and standing about 10 to 12 feet tall, was eerily reminiscent of the monoliths from Stanley Kubrick's film 2001, A Space Odyssey. The discovery sparked widespread curiosity and speculation, with some people suggesting that it was the work of extraterrestrials, while others believed it to be an elaborate art installation. Just as mysteriously as it appeared, the Utah monolith vanished a few days later, with witnesses claiming to have seen a group of people dismantling it under the cover of darkness. In the weeks that followed, similar monoliths began appearing in various parts of the world, from Romania to California, the Netherlands, and beyond. Each time, the monoliths would draw crowds and media attention before disappearing as suddenly as they had arrived. While some monoliths were later claimed by various artists or art collectives, many of the installation's origins remained unknown. The 2020 monolith phenomenon became a symbol of the strange and unpredictable nature of the year, sparking conversations about art, mystery, and the human need for wonder and curiosity during challenging times. Despite numerous theories, the full story behind the monoliths remains shrouded in mystery. The Black Lives Matter protests. The murder of George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, by a police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on May 25, 2020, ignited one of the largest social justice movements in recent history. Floyd's death, which was captured on video and widely circulated, showed him pleading for his life as the officer knelt on his neck for over 9 minutes. The video sparked outrage and grief, leading to protests not only across the United States but also around the world. The Black Lives Matter (BLM) movement, which had been founded in 2013, gained renewed momentum as millions of people took to the streets to demand an end to police brutality and systemic racism. The protests were often met with a heavy police presence, and in some cases, violence erupted, further intensifying the national conversation about law enforcement practices. The impact of the protests was profound. Statues and monuments associated with colonialism and racism were removed or defaced. Companies and institutions issued statements of solidarity, and discussions about racial justice became more prominent in public discourse. The movement also led to calls for police reform, including the reallocation of police funding to community services and the implementation of policies aimed at reducing violence and increasing accountability. The 2020 Black Lives Matter protests brought issues of racial injustice to the forefront, prompting widespread reflection and, in some cases, tangible policy changes. The movement highlighted the power of collective action and the ongoing struggle for equality and justice in the United States and beyond. The Australian bushfires. The Australian bushfire season of 2019-2020, often referred to as Black Summer, was one of the most devastating fire seasons in the country's history. The fires began in late 2019 and continued into early 2020, fueled by extreme heat, drought, and strong winds. By the time the fires were contained, they had burned over 46 million acres of land, destroyed thousands of homes, and resulted in the deaths of 33 people. The environmental impact was catastrophic. An estimated 3 billion animals were killed or displaced, with entire species pushed to the brink of extinction. The fires destroyed vast swathes of forest, including parts of ancient rainforests and national parks, leading to long-term damage to Australia's unique ecosystems. The smoke from the fires was so intense that it affected air quality across Australia, and even drifted to other parts of the world. Major cities like Sydney and Melbourne were shrouded in smoke for weeks, leading to health warnings and disruptions to daily life. The bushfires also had a profound impact on the global conversation about climate change. The scale and intensity of the fires were linked to rising temperatures and prolonged droughts, which many scientists attributed to climate change. The disaster spurred calls for more urgent action to address climate change, both in Australia and internationally. In the aftermath of the fires, there was an outpouring of support from around the world. Millions of dollars were raised to assist affected communities and wildlife, and volunteers from across the globe traveled to Australia to help with firefighting and recovery efforts. The Australian bushfires of 2020 were a stark reminder of the dangers posed by climate change and the importance of global solidarity in times of crisis. The murder hornet invasion. In 2020, the United States faced an unusual and alarming threat: the arrival of the Asian giant hornet, commonly known as the murder hornet. These hornets, native to Asia, are the largest in the world, with queens growing up to 2 inches long. They earned the nickname murder hornets due to their powerful sting, which can be deadly to humans if stung multiple times, and their devastating impact on honeybee populations. The first sightings of these hornets in North America occurred in late 2019 in British Columbia, Canada, and by May 2020, they were spotted in Washington state. Beekeepers and entomologists grew concerned as the hornets began attacking and decimating honeybee colonies, a critical part of the ecosystem for pollination. A few hornets can wipe out an entire hive in hours by decapitating bees and feeding the thoraxes to their young. Efforts to track and eliminate the hornets became a priority, with entomologists setting traps and using infrared cameras to locate nests. In October 2020, scientists in Washington state discovered and destroyed the first known murder hornet nest in the U.S., containing about 200 queens that could have started new colonies. While the immediate threat of the murder hornets was contained, their presence sparked widespread fear and fascination, with media coverage amplifying concerns. The incident highlighted the ongoing issue of invasive species and their potential to disrupt local ecosystems. The murder hornet invasion of 2020 served as a reminder of the delicate balance in nature and the challenges of protecting biodiversity. The election of 2020 and the Capitol riot. The 2020 U.S. presidential election was one of the most contentious and consequential in American history. The race between incumbent President Donald Trump and challenger Joe Biden took place against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic, widespread social unrest, and deep political divisions. After a prolonged and hard-fought campaign, Joe Biden was declared the winner in November 2020, becoming the 46th president of the United States. However, the election did not end quietly. President Trump and many of his supporters refused to accept the results, claiming widespread voter fraud despite the lack of evidence. The weeks following the election were marked by numerous legal challenges, recounts, and escalating tensions. The situation culminated on January 6, 2021, when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to overturn the election results. The riot resulted in the deaths of 5 people, dozens of injuries, and significant damage to the Capitol building. The event shocked the nation and the world, leading to widespread condemnation and a second impeachment of President Trump. The Capitol riot was a stark illustration of the deep divisions within the United States and raised serious questions about the state of American democracy. It also led to increased security measures in Washington, D.C., and a broader discussion about political extremism and the responsibilities of leaders and media in shaping public opinion. The election of 2020 and its aftermath had a profound impact on the U.S., highlighting the importance of democratic institutions and the need for unity and healing in a deeply polarized society. The rescue of the Thai boys' soccer team. In June 2022, a dramatic and emotional rescue mission captured global attention when a group of young boys and their soccer coach were rescued from a cave in northern Thailand. The boys, aged 11 to 16, and their coach had been trapped in the Tam Luang cave by rising floodwaters since June 23, 2018. The international rescue operation was launched after they were discovered alive but stranded in the cave system. The rescue involved a complex and dangerous operation. Teams of divers, including experts from Thailand and around the world, navigated the treacherous and narrow passageways to reach the trapped group. The operation was made even more challenging by the cave's unpredictable conditions, including strong currents and low visibility. After days of meticulous planning and preparation, the rescue team successfully evacuated the boys and their coach between July 8 and 10. The operation was fraught with risks, and one of the rescue divers tragically lost his life during the mission. However, the successful rescue of all 13 individuals was celebrated as a remarkable achievement and a testament to the skill and bravery of the rescuers. The story of the Thai boys soccer team captivated audiences worldwide and highlighted the power of international cooperation and human resilience. The rescue effort also drew attention to the importance of preparedness and safety in challenging environments, as well as the courage and determination of the young athletes and their coach. The journey of Sherry Papini. In November 2022, Sherry Papini, who had been the subject of a high-profile kidnapping case, was sentenced to 18 months in prison for faking her own abduction. In 2016, Papini, a 34-year-old mother of two, disappeared from her home in Redding, California, sparking a massive search effort and nationwide media coverage. She was eventually found 3 weeks later, claiming she had been abducted by two Hispanic women who had tortured her. The case received significant media attention and led to a wave of sympathy and support for Papini and her family. However, in 2022, Papini admitted to fabricating the entire story. She confessed to staging her own kidnapping and claiming that she had been held captive to cover up an affair with an ex-boyfriend. The revelation of the hoax shocked many and led to Papini being charged with several crimes, including lying to federal authorities. Her case became a cautionary tale about the consequences of deceit and the impact of falsehoods on real victims and the justice system. The story highlighted the resources wasted on the false search and the emotional toll on those involved in the case. The story of Malala Yousafzai's continued advocacy. In 2022, Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani education activist and Nobel Peace Prize laureate, continued to make significant strides in her advocacy for girls' education around the world. Malala, who survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban in 2012 for her activism, has become a global symbol of resilience and the fight for education equality. In 2022, Malala's work focused on addressing the education crisis exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. She worked through her Malala Fund to support education initiatives and advocate for policy changes that benefit girls who are disproportionately affected by school closures and educational inequalities. Her advocacy efforts included collaborating with world leaders and organizations to secure funding for educational programs and promote access to quality education. Malala also continued to use her platform to highlight issues facing young girls, such as child marriage and gender-based violence. Her personal story and ongoing activism inspired many around the world and drew attention to the urgent need for continued efforts to ensure that all children, regardless of gender or location, have the opportunity to receive an education. Malala's continued work in 2022 underscored her commitment to transforming lives through education and her role as a leading voice in the global movement for gender equality and human rights. The story of Greta Thunberg. In 2019, Greta Thunberg, a Swedish teenager, became a global icon for climate activism. At just 16 years old, Greta began skipping school to protest outside the Swedish parliament, demanding stronger action on climate change. Her solitary protest, which she called Fridays for Future, quickly gained international attention and inspired a global movement of young people advocating for climate action. Greta's activism culminated in September 2019 when she delivered a powerful speech at the United Nations Climate Action Summit in New York City. Her speech, in which she accused world leaders of failing to act on the climate crisis, resonated deeply and drew widespread media coverage. She famously stated, "You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words." Thunberg's impact was profound, leading to widespread climate strikes and rallies organized by students and activists around the world. Her efforts highlighted the urgency of addressing climate change and challenged policymakers to take meaningful action. Greta's story also sparked important conversations about the role of youth in activism and the need for systemic change to combat the rescue of the Thai cave boys. The rescue of the Thai soccer team, also known as the Wild Boars, in 2018 continued to have an impact throughout 2019. The dramatic and successful rescue operation was one of the most riveting stories of the year. In June 2018, 12 boys, aged 11 to 16, and their soccer coach became trapped in the Tam Luang cave complex in northern Thailand due to sudden flooding. The story captivated the world as an international team of divers and rescuers worked tirelessly to locate and extract the trapped boys. The operation involved navigating treacherous underwater passages and overcoming numerous challenges. The rescue was completed in July 2018, but the aftermath and the stories of the individuals involved continued to be of significant interest in 2019. In 2019, the story of the Thai cave rescue continued to inspire books, documentaries, and films. The rescue operation was celebrated as a remarkable feat of courage and international cooperation. It also led to ongoing discussions about the lessons learned from the rescue and its implications for future disaster response efforts. The story of the Thai cave rescue remained a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the extraordinary efforts made by individuals and teams to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. The story of Damar Hamlin. In January 2023, Buffalo Bills safety. Damar Hamlin experienced a life-threatening incident during an NFL game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Hamlin collapsed on the field after a routine tackle, suffering a cardiac arrest. The event was both shocking and alarming for fans and players alike. Emergency medical personnel quickly administered CPR and used an AED, automated external defibrillator, to revive Hamlin. He was then transported to the hospital, where he received critical care. The incident prompted an outpouring of support from fans, fellow athletes, and the broader community. Hamlin's recovery and return to the public eye became a symbol of hope and resilience. In the months following the incident, Hamlin focused on his recovery and used his platform to raise awareness about heart health. He also established the Damar Hamlin's Chasing M's Foundation, which aims to support community-driven initiatives and promote sports safety. His story underscored the importance of quick medical response and the power of community support in overcoming life-threatening challenges. The release of Barbie and its cultural impact. In July 2023, the film Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig and starring Margot Robbie, was released, becoming a significant cultural phenomenon. The film, which featured a modern and satirical take on the iconic doll, resonated with audiences for its clever storytelling and exploration of gender roles and societal expectations. The movie was celebrated for its unique approach, blending humor and introspection to address themes of identity, self-discovery, and the pressures placed on women and girls. It generated considerable discussion and debate about feminism, representation, and the impact of media on perceptions of gender. Barbie also made a substantial impact at the box office and became a topic of widespread conversation on social media and beyond. The film's success highlighted the evolving landscape of blockbuster cinema and the potential for films to provoke thought and engage with contemporary issues in meaningful ways. The release of Barbie in 2023 exemplified how popular culture can reflect and influence societal conversations, and it showcased the ability of films to address complex themes while entertaining audiences. The story of Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani education activist and Nobel Peace Prize laureate, continued to make waves with her advocacy for girls' education and gender equality. Following her recovery from a Taliban assassination attempt in 2012, Malala has been a prominent voice for education reform and women's rights. In recent years, Malala's efforts have included expanding her work with the Malala Fund, which focuses on ensuring girls have access to education worldwide. Her advocacy has led to significant initiatives aimed at improving educational opportunities for girls in countries affected by conflict and poverty. Malala's story is impactful because it represents the resilience of an individual who overcame severe adversity to become a global advocate for change. Her continued work in promoting education and gender equality highlights the significant influence that one person's courage and dedication can have on global issues. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this information valuable. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. See you in the next video.